You are listening to Pivot Parenting, episode 209, How to Repair as a Parent. Welcome to Pivot Parenting, the place where we recognize when your parental role needs to shift and how to do it. I'm your host and parenting expert, Heather Frazier. Hey, my friend, I am really excited to talk about repairing relationships today, but I need to ask you a favor before we get to that. I would love some honest reviews on either this podcast, Pivot Parenting, or my book, How I Fixed My Teen, if you've read it or listened to it. Your honest reviews are the best way to help other parents who are having a hard time find the resources that I have created, the ones that you find helpful. Reviews are what bring either my podcast or my book to the top of search results. You can review my podcast on iTunes. You can review my book on Amazon. If you would be so kind as to spend 90 seconds writing a couple of sentences about what you've learned or how my book or podcast has helped you, I would be forever grateful. And I know that other parents who are looking for help would also be grateful. If you have 90 seconds, a minute to spare today, I would love your help in that regard. And I know that so many other people would appreciate your willingness to help them out as well. But let's talk about repairing relationships. This is something that applies to everyone. You find me a parent who says they have never harmed their kid, and I'll show you the most harmful parent ever because they're in a state of delusion. There is something that we all need to embrace, and it is that we can and do cause harm to our kids. And to ourselves, and to our partner, all the folks in our lives, we have and probably will create harm. We say or do things that they find hurtful. Sometimes we do this because we are angry and it is with very much intention. Sometimes it is without any attention or awareness at all. I look back at things that I've said and done in the past with the lens that I now have, and it's so cringy because I said and did things that I thought were helpful or at least benign at the time. And looking back, I just think that wasn't very cool of me. And I think that we all do this. And when we can acknowledge that sometimes we get it wrong, then we free up so much more space to be able to get it right. Now, doing a poor job or a less than desirable job doesn't make you defective or bad. Let's also dispel that right now. Messing up just makes us human, and all humans mess up. And we don't need to feel shame around our less than exemplary behavior either. I promise. It's really not a problem. It's been a while since I have used an avatar in my podcast. And so today I thought it would be so much fun to talk about Tina. Now, Tina is a fictional parent that I have put together a lot of different things that I have seen, heard, and experienced. And so she is not any one single person, but maybe you can find Tina relatable because she has human faults just like you and I. She's a mom who loves her family and wants to do the best for them, but can't always control how she speaks and behaves. When she's upset, she lashes out with harsh words and even throws things or storms off with threats of leaving for good because nobody appreciates her or wants her around anyway. Then Tina feels massive shame around how she has behaved. She tries to make it up over the top to her family, or she just tiptoes around until it's been a few days and she acts like nothing's happened. Can anybody relate to that? Occasionally, she'll address it, what happened with her teens or her spouse, but it never really goes that well, and she never really feels better. Okay, I love Tina. Tina has a heart of gold because she really does want to do what is best. She's just missing the skill set to be able to do so. One thing that Tina and you and I probably have in our life is shame. Shame is huge in keeping us stuck, and it can live in pretty much every area that we have thoughts and feelings about in our lives. Here are some common areas where shame is crippling: in our weight or physical appearance, money, parenting, education, our home, our relationship status, and religion. These are some common areas. Many people that I talk to feel like it is necessary to have shame in order to change. Except these common areas that people struggle in are the hardest to change in their lives because of the shame. Because when shame is an ingredient or a catalyst into change, it's very hard to make any headway. And if progress is made, it is made for a very short time. So this is like the people who you see lose weight and then gain it, and lose weight and then gain it. And they're trying all these different programs for money, and it works for a minute and then it doesn't. And they blame the program, and then they say they're stupid, right? Shame is the reason. Now let's define shame. Shame says, I am wrong. I am bad, broken, worthless. If people saw, I would be rejected. That is shame, thinking there is something wrong with us. That is never, ever, ever helpful. My friend, I don't care what you've done, there's nothing wrong with you. There might be things in your behavior that are wrong or right. A lot of behavior, though, isn't even moral. We have wrong or right, that's important. And then we have a lot of just opinion or preferences, and we behave from those. Guilt, however, is I have done something wrong. I am not my actions. I can own and correct what I have done. So guilt essentially provides like a little space between what's happening and yourself. I yelled. I was passive aggressive. I said something unkind. Not, I'm a yeller, I'm unkind, I'm a psycho. Do you see how there's some difference there? I am a yeller. These parents who identify as their shameful behaviors have a very hard time stopping the yelling. I have yelled, or I just yelled, is simply about the action. There's no I am. It's easier to alter behavior when you don't see it as who you are. This happened. I was upset and behaved from that place. I am still good and worthy. Guilt can be useful. Shame never is. Shame is one of the most powerful paralytics that we have emotionally. It keeps us frozen. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us from sharing what's going on with anybody else, because that would be really scary, and they would think that I am broken, or that I'm bad, or that I am stupid. A lot of women or men stay in abusive relationships because they are so ashamed that they allow somebody to treat them like that. They don't tell anybody, and they stay in abusive relationships. Can you see this? Have you seen this? Tina thinks that she is bad. She hates herself for what she does to her family, but it's almost like she can't stop it once it's started. So she has two things to heal now: her self-concept and her behavior, hating herself and what she's doing. My friend, shame is a dirty little liar. Shame only looks at one or two things and makes overall statements about us. It is really hard to repair our relationship with shame in the way. Tina is believing shame when she goes overboard trying to make up for what an awful mom her kids have. Buying them stuff, bending rules, overcompensating. Yes, I am awful, so I need to make it up to you. Or when she ghosts, I'm too toxic to be around. They don't want me, and I don't blame them for it. I don't want me either. I'm bad. Or the side shame, when she blames her kids. They're the ones who start it, and they need to stop lying and yelling and name-calling, and if they just wouldn't start swearing at me, then I wouldn't lose my mind all over them. Blaming our kid is a nasty little sideways way of feeling shame. Because when we blame someone we love, like our sweet baby, then we dislike them. And then we feel bad for painting our kid as the bad guy and hating on them. So we feel bad about ourselves in the end anyway. What kind of parent hates their kid? That's so shameful. I'm so ashamed of myself. One thing is all you have to do to effectively repair damage. It is telling the whole truth. It is owning and putting everything out in the sunshine for everybody to see. And I'm not talking about Facebook posts. Don't update your Facebook with, I yelled at my kid. That's unnecessary. That's not what I mean. It also isn't, telling the truth is not, you were so bratty that I lost it. Or if you just listened the first time, then this wouldn't have happened. It's your fault. And it's not, I'm the worst. I'll never change. I'm past hope. Just, move on without me while I lay here and wallow in my self-loathing. It's also not, I love you so much and feel so bad and can't fix this, so I'll just buy that video game I hate, but you want, so that we can all feel better. It's not telling the truth. That's still playing victim, villain, blaming, none of that business. Here's what Tina's truth could look like. I shouldn't have acted like that. I'm sorry. Even if your kid was egging you on. When I see you upset, I want to fix it for you, but that just seems to make you more upset. I don't know how to help you, and that is frustrating to me, and then I get mad. That's not your fault, and it's not fair to you. Can we please collaborate on how we can both work through our struggles here? I want to improve. You are worth it to me. I don't like that behavior either when I act like that. I know I won't get it perfect, but I'm willing to keep trying. Maybe we both need some help around this. Shall we both go therapist or coach shopping? When you block the door or are up in my face, it triggers me because of bad experiences I have had, and I can't control what I do next. I know that I need help for this. Please be patient with me. When you roll your eyes at me, I make it mean that you think I'm dumb. I'd love to not have you roll your eyes, and I will try to remember in the moment and try my best to not take it personally. Can we both try to do better at this? Okay, these are just a few examples, but the basic formula is for any tell the whole truth, which several years ago I did a podcast. I think it's actually called Telling the Whole Truth if you want more on this. The basic formula is you're acknowledging them and their part and your part. There's no blame, shame, opinions. It's just very loving and matter of fact, sharing how you feel in an honest, vulnerable way and keeping a similar space for them. When we can acknowledge that we're human and we mess up, it's so much easier to acknowledge that our kid, of course, is human and is going to mess up, and it doesn't actually have to be a problem, at all. We all have feelings and reasons for why we act the way that we do, even when it doesn't seem to make sense. It's there. Reach out if you can't see the reasoning, and we can chat this over if you have a hard time seeing your reason for what you're doing. My pivot for you to try out this week is honestly look at yourself and your behaviors, especially the ones that you have shame around. See how you can shift that into guilt so that you can improve where you want to be. Or perhaps it's not anything to do with you and you just need to apply love. Work on repairing your relationship with your kids by telling the whole truth. That you're not perfect and you're making peace with that and you're learning how to evolve, and that it's okay that they're also not perfect. They shouldn't be. They're just a cute little teenager that has all these wild feelings that they don't know what to do with. We get that because we've been there. We all have wild feelings that make us feel crazy sometimes. The trick is in self-love and self-acceptance and extending that to your other family members, and then being honest. When our kid calls us out on something and it's accurate, tell them they're right. You're right. That was wild of me. I am so sorry. Telling our kids when they hit the nail on the head is the most humble and quickest way to build an authentic connection and trust with them. Imagine if people did that with you. When you said, hey, that wasn't very cool, and they're like, oh my goodness, you were so right. Wouldn't that just make you feel like, wow, they really care and they want to make amends? Put yourself on the reverse. How would you want to be treated if you were in your kids' shoes as you were repairing with them? What kind of truths would you need to hear? That's how we want to repair with them. It is all about honesty and transparency, which requires confidence and vulnerability and the ability to see the actual truth. That is exactly what my book, How I Fixed My Teen, is all about. I've been getting some parents that are kind of bugged by the title and some teenagers who really don't appreciate it. And that's fair. The good news is that's actually not what the book is about at all. I think teenagers are perfect and fun and wonderful. And the book is helping you to discover your confidence, your voice, your lens in which you are seeing yourself and them. It's actually all about you, which is beautiful news because you are way easier to control than your teen, because you control you and your teen controls themselves. And if you're here listening, I'm guessing you've tried to control your teen and it just doesn't work. My life's goal is to empower you to manage and control yourself so that your teen feels your love and support, which is what actually creates the best connection with them. Of course, my book is on all the retail sites, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and my website. You can grab it at any of those places. And again, if you have 60, 90, maybe 120 seconds today, and you wanted to write me a review, I would be forever grateful. And so would all the parents who can more easily find this podcast and my book. Okay, that's what I have for you this week. I hope you have an excellent week, and we will talk to you next time.